What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jordan, back with another video. And in today's video, I have the pleasure of being with my good friend Justin Woll. Justin is the founder and CEO of Beyond Six Figures, the #1 personal mentorship company in the e-commerce space. Justin has been able to help thousands of entrepreneurs start and scale their own e-commerce business. And from this, he was able to become a millionaire by the age of 23. Justin is somebody that I look up to in my journey. I've learned many things from him, and you guys are going to today. We're gonna be talking about your journey. We're gonna be talking about some of the things that you teach to your students, and hopefully you guys will be able to get some value from this video. If you wanna know more about Justin, his links are gonna be down below. But bro, thanks for being on the channel.
Absolutely, brother. And honestly, thanks for coming here, guys. Jordan actually stopped by. We just moved from New Jersey out here to Delray Beach, Florida. And Jordan stopped by. He's one of my great friends, and I was, super excited to actually have him over here. Jordan and I have always been able to kind of mastermind and really get to the bottom of not only like spiritual kind of ideology between, what we have going on, but obviously business ventures and, just great ideas all around, man. It's a pleasure to be here today with you.
Absolutely. So today, guys, we're going to go through Justin's journey, which you haven't actually shared with the world too much.
I haven't.
We're going to talk about what it took to get to this level. I mean, we're at your beautiful home here in Delray. So let's just go ahead and get this started. I guess a good place to begin would be to tell people about the come up and how you got started in online entrepreneurship.
For sure. So, amazing question, Jordan. And one of the first things, guys, that enabled me to kind of understand that I was into entrepreneurship was the fact that, I like making money without having to go into work, right? That's the best thing about it. And the moment I knew I was, an entrepreneur at heart was back when I was like 13, 14 years old. We're doing YouTube. And it's funny, we actually have a funny story. I did Call of Duty back in the day. I was in a YouTube clan called Link Region was our entrepreneurship and, kind of gaming clan. We did like Call of Duty trick shotting, right? Weird stuff. And, that's how I initially got into not e-commerce, but more or less selling online and being in the market online, which is incredible.
That lit the spark.
Right.
So how did you go from that to turning it into this large scale company that you're running today? Because that process, I'm sure, had some ups and downs.
Oh yeah, and being online, working online, obviously nothing's instant. And what I learned throughout that YouTube experience, I was so young. I wasn't really in it for the money. I was just loving the fact that I could be seen online and I could go ahead and broadcast thousands, millions of people, whatnot. And that's what initially kind of lit my spark. But the transition was, the YouTube account, and we started making money from the account. I was super young, and I remember my mom looking into the PayPal account, and she had to sit down with me, and she sat me down at my kitchen table. And mind you, this is after a bunch of stuff went down in the whole family. We have another kind of tale to this story.
But we can talk about
it. We sat down, and she said, Justin, this money in here, how are you getting it? She was concerned if it was legal or not. It was like YouTube ad spend. We were doing shout outs and bulletins on YouTube, and we had partnerships with the gaming companies and stuff. So we're making a good amount of money. I was like 13, 14 years old. And that's my initial kind of entry into the marketplace, making money online. And those were the first dollars I've made online, which kind of sparked my interest to say, I want to go ahead and make more. I want to go ahead and change more people's lives. I want to really make an impact and build something great online. And that was my first kind of recognition to the space.
So in between that space, you actually did go to college, right?
Right. I went to Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey. Shout out Scarlet Knights. But I actually went all the way to my senior year. And I ended up dropping out with 12 credits left. I don't know if you guys heard this song by Drake. He's like, 12 credits left, dropped out of school. My mama had the saddest day. Same thing. I was doing well online, and I didn't want to pursue school anymore, even though I went through all of it to the senior year, the last, few classes, which happened to be very intensive classes. But it required a lot of time that I didn't want to put into school. I wanted to put into my business and what we had created at that time when I was at Rutgers. But yeah, I did go to Rutgers University. I actually won the entrepreneurship award there as well.
Nice, man. So while you were in school, you were building Beyond Six Figures.
Right. So that's a pretty crazy story as well. I would be in class. I'd be the guy, not paying attention, running my Shopify stores, right, building the businesses, editing the ad accounts, and really just focusing on the business. But yeah, I did start, really pushing forward hard while I was in college, and that definitely took away from my focus on schooling. But it's absolutely incredible to see where it's taken us.
So there's a couple topics that I want to get into today because your story is incredible. You didn't come from a family with wealth, right? You actually went through some massive struggles to get to the point that you're at today. You don't have to share everything, but can you talk a little bit about some of those low times in your journey, and how do you feel that those moments impacted you today? Would you change them, or do you feel like they made you who you are?
Well, first and foremost, amazing question, Jordan. And all in all, we went through some stuff, my family and I, through the very get-go. And ultimately, we were a normal middle-class family down in South Jersey, right? And I remember coming home from elementary school one day, and I walked in the house, and everything was gone, right? Everything was gone because things went down, and we had to move out, right? We had to move out of the house, right? So we ended up moving out of the house. My parents split up, and what happened was we were actually moved in with my grandparents in about 1,200 square foot, little tiny place. It was my brother, my mom, myself, my grandma, and my grandfather. Thank God for my grandparents and my mom, my whole family.
Yeah.
My father as well. But ultimately, we moved in with my grandparents, and we were there for 3-4 years, and we weren't able to get anything of our own. We were kind of sitting there, just trying to go ahead and get back on our feet because things went down before that caused us to lose the house, and we were moving forward in a way where it was kind of iffy. We were definitely struggling, and mortgage money was always a problem.
Right.
Always money was the problem.
Right.
That was the problem.
And at this time, you were still figuring out your money situation.
Right, and this is when I was really young, and this is ultimately when I got started in YouTube. A little bit after this happened, I was like super driven. I'm like, I got to pay the mortgage. We got to go out there and try to go ahead and get the funds that we need to kind of push forward and prevail and continue to work through this this path of life at the time, which we thought was super dark. And ultimately, that's what enabled me to understand that money was what we needed, and I needed to go out there and really help people. I need to build something for my own self and generate income so I could go ahead and offset what has happened to myself and the family the last few years. And that was ultimately what really lit ambition and a fire and drive within myself. And you asked me if I would go ahead and change it. I wouldn't change a single thing. My family worked super hard to kind of raise me to be the gentleman I try to be every single day. And the whole thing is, at the end of the day, I wouldn't undo it because it made me who I am. And obviously, going through all of that gave me the kind of, kick in the butt to go ahead and get moving at such a young age.
Right.
And having at such a young age, it compounds, like 13, 14, 15 years old where, money's an issue and you got to go ahead and you got to pull up with something.
You got to figure it out.
Right. It kind of lit a fire within me that, I feel like most people don't get till like 17, 18. So I was super young and really hungry to move forward and make things happen.
So something very important that I noticed with your story, and the viewers that are watching this perhaps are going through something similar. When the challenge presented itself in your life, you didn't let it beat you down. You instead turned that into fuel and ambition. Can you talk a little bit about what's going on up here to do that? Because I know people out there, they're struggling with money, they're struggling with feeling lost in life perhaps. Maybe they're just not doing good with their family. How do you turn those negative situations into a positive? What goes on in your brain to make that shift?
Absolutely, guys. And Jordan, I think it's an amazing question. And first and foremost, I was definitely a strong person back, when this was happening when I was younger. But I remember, days I would just be sitting in bed crying, right? I would literally be sitting in bed crying because my mom was struggling, she was upset, and I had a little brother as well, and got me feeling how I did going through. I can only imagine how he did. So I was doing my best to kind of comfort him, throughout the entire time. But what ultimately made me so hard-headed or numb to everything negative there after that situation is because of that situation, right? I went through a really hard time. The whole family did, not just me. And ultimately, what happened is we would constantly be faced with financial problems, right? And that was kind of the root of evil. We feel like, oh, money, we need money. I'm like, why can't we just have money? It was so tough. And after I was kind of being upset for so long, I kind of got numb to it. Like I said, I got numb to it, and I was growing. I was growing as a person. I'm like, I'm not going to let this beat me down. And look, there's people out here who have it a million times worse, right? So everyone's got it better. So a ton of people have it better than you, and a ton of people have it worse than you. So where you are, be grateful no matter where you are. And I was super young, so I didn't have anyone to kind of tell me these types of things. So I had to figure them out on my own. And as I would move forward, I'd be upset day to day, and every single day I'd be stronger. Then I wasn't being as upset as I was. I was more or less keeping my head up and just being strong. At the time I was trying to be like a really good brother to my little brother, and a great son to my mother just by trying to be the strong person who was able to prevail and move forward without having to, kind of beat down in the dumps, even though, everything around us would kind of dictate that that's how we would feel.
Yeah, so I think that we should move now to when you broke past that and started to build up your consulting business, because the story on that is incredible. You really pushed yourself to your limits. But there's one word that you said in that last little speech there, and that's grateful. That's gratitude. Having that gratitude in those moments of downwards, in those moments of struggle, I feel like that's what really gets you through. Being able to appreciate the fact that you have a family, being able to appreciate the fact that your family is coming together, working towards a common goal. There's always something to be grateful for, even if it's just water or food on your back.
100%, Jordan. And one of the things as well is it made our family super, super close. It made us super, super tight. We were just real close siblings. I was really close to my mom, and we became a unit. We became one.
Right.
Which is amazing. Which is amazing. That's priceless. And every single day I have gratitude. And no matter where you are in life, you want to be grateful that you're breathing. I know that sounds cliche, but at the end of the day,
so true though. It's not promised, man.
It really is. And being grateful is one of the virtues I feel like that you need to have in life to really live life to the fullest. To be excited, and to kind of capitalize on your question as well. The breakthrough. What was the thing that pushed us forward? So originally it was YouTube, right? I built up a nice little bank from YouTube, and when I was super young, I kind of went year to year to year. I eventually got into Shopify. Right, and at Rutgers University, right, I was super young there at that time. That was like when I first went to Rutgers. We started doing Shopify, and I remember we built our first store, or my first store, and it was an apparel line, right? An apparel line. I had a big vision for an apparel line, and I chose a specific niche inside this apparel line, making it easier for us to obviously go ahead and pinpoint our consumer avatar. And I wasn't any ad pro back then, but I feel like I had an edge for it because I understood the ads manager fairly quickly. I was able to kind of understand the ad tactics that I was watching on YouTube.
You had years of marketing under your belt too.
Right, and that was one of the main things for me because I understood the marketplace, I understood online business, and I understood the market that was there, ready for me to grab. And ultimately what we ended up doing is building that store and launched it. Within 3 days we hit 1K a day, which is great off of the first store that I built. And the moment I got that first sale, I became obsessed. And the moment I hit my first $1,000 day, I knew I would never work a job a day in my life. I would do whatever I had to go ahead and make sure that I don't have to work for somebody. I could go ahead and sit down every single day and do what I want to do when I want to do it. And that first Shopify store obviously went on to do pretty big numbers, anywhere from 50, 60, 70, even we hit 100K a month with that store, which is absolutely phenomenal. And that's one of my biggest kind of prideful moments is the fact that we built that store. I had my back against the wall. And what happened was the store it started off doing well, $1,000 days, but eventually it actually kind of tanked a little bit, and I broke even. I actually lost all my money on that store, right? And I had to wait a little bit. And what I was doing is I was getting organic sales from the business because I sent so much traffic to it, and we're getting organic sales. And every organic sale, as you guys know, when you get them, you pocket extra money because you're not paying the Facebook CPA, which is amazing. So I would use that money. I'm like, yes, organic. I was using my Facebook page, and at this time we had about 5,000 likes on the Facebook page. Very passionate community, to say the least, very passionate. So I was able to post new items to the Facebook page and get sales from it, which is amazing. And this is shortly after we were just doing 1K days consecutively, so we built up a small community and we're getting organic sales. I was astonished how quickly we're getting these organic sales. It was nothing like a big, massive brand, but it was enough to go ahead and feed my pocket while I needed it.
Yeah. But the big shift wasn't from that store itself. It was from the vision behind starting BSF. And we haven't really gotten into that, but BSF is your pride and joy. Absolutely. That is one of the most impressive companies I've ever seen. This thing runs like a well-oiled machine. And if you guys go and check out the Facebook group down below, literally every single day, there is somebody in there saying, this man changed my life. This program works. I've never seen a digital product that gets so many testimonials. And I'm saying that as somebody who also has one, right? So there's no BS here. Talk about the building of BSF, because the store is cool, but BSF is really the impressive project that you've taken off with.
Absolutely. So, first and foremost, guys, in order to be in a position where you could obviously coach people, you got to know what you're freaking doing. So a long time in between, before I built BSF, we were building stores. That's where we got to that, six-figure mark, which is phenomenal. And we were able to go ahead and build other stores around it. And me, when I say we, it was me and my VA at the time. We were able to go ahead and get consistency throughout the first store, and then we built another another bunch of assets as well, other stores around similar products as well, because we use the pixel data, we share pixel and whatnot, and we're able to build up a lot of other stores. And I actually took on some small coaching clients as well, because back in the day, I wasn't charging pretty much anything to get people to work with me. I just wanted to go ahead and see if I was really good at it, because I built so many stores. I'm like, I deserve to coach. I want to help people, do what I've done, because I've been through so much crap in my life that I didn't want anyone else to go through that, and with the struggles of losing money on the first store and everything. But we built those businesses. We transitioned over. I was coaching some individuals, and they did absolutely phenomenal. One of my students, Vlad, actually, I think it was one of our second student was doing $10,000 a day within the first few weeks using the systems. Because one of the things that I was able to go ahead and realize is that when I was building these little stores, right, I was systemizing everything. Right, I was creating systems for whether it be targeting, product research, scaling, and right here, even on the whiteboard, we have micro, big bang, CBO, manual bidding. These are all strategies that we've used to scale stores up to upwards of $45,000 in a single day. Right, and by having these systems in place, I was able to do it over and over and over again on different stores at the same time. So I'm like, okay, well, I have systems in place. I'm able to do it repetitively. I'm able to train VAs to help me with them because they're systemized. I know I could go ahead and get individuals into a program and train them to be e-commerce killers and really get them to be consistent. Because the thing with me is I was unorganized until I've started to develop systems, and e-commerce almost helped me become more organized in my own life because it forced me to develop systems, because the only way I was seeing consistent ROI on my stores was when I developed systems and I had KPI benchmarks to kill ads, to scale ads and whatnot. Yeah. So after so long of seeing consistency throughout these stores, we eventually said, let's go ahead and actually build a business around e-commerce education, because I'm able to build stores consistently and get them to be profitable consistently. So I wanted to build a program around it and share the ideas, because I was always like posting my results in all these Facebook groups like Ecom Empires, etc. Right? And people always asking me, Justin, can you coach me? Yeah. And it wasn't really something I wanted. I was really so passionate about at the time, because I thought stores was incredible, which it is. But so many people were messaging me, Justin, can you help me out? Can you do this? Can you do this? I'm like, why not? I could still run stores, and I could build up a little business as well and help change people's lives while I do all of that at the same time. So I figured.
But that little business then became your main focus. And you told me the other day, one thing that really stuck with me is you said that I'm going to build the largest e-commerce education company. I'm going to become the guy when it comes to e-commerce education. That shift alone, I feel like, is a big reason why you're where you're at today, because you decided this is what I'm going to work on for the long term.
Absolutely. And one of the main things, guys, is when we started BSF, it took us a while to get to the point we're at now. But right now we're at the point where we have the most consistent results in the industry for e-commerce coaching. And one of the things that I've really understood within myself is that when I commit to one thing and I kind of use everything around me that I've learned to commit to that one thing, I use all the skills and tactics that I've picked up since I was 13, 14 to really hone in on one thing. That's when I was able to really see a breakthrough with this, and BSF Beyond Six Figures was able to blow up because I had all my focus on this specifically. I have an amazing team as well. Don't want to leave them out. Our team is phenomenal. BSF team are a team of rock stars, to say the least. And the reason I'm able to go ahead and focus my energy on one thing at once and scale is because I have a team that helps me with everything else I got going on the side. So that's incredible as well. We could go ahead and use everyone on board to go ahead and manage a little section of all the different businesses we have. And a lot of my time and energy has been going into Beyond Six Figures and growing this company to where it is. And initially, I was doing straight up one-on-one coaching, right? And I was literally, and we still do a lot of the personal coaching and one-on-one attention. And initially, I know I told you this, Jordan.
Pushing yourself to the brink.
I pushed myself to the absolute limit, guys. A lot of people tell you don't burn out. I got to that point of complete burnout, and what I was doing is I was taking on one-on-one clients, and I was getting them a lot of results. So I'm like, I'm going to keep taking on clients until I can't handle it. And I was at a point where I was taking like 23, 24 calls a day, and they would go like 30 minutes each minimum. And I was always making sure I over-delivered on every single session with these individuals who wanted to build a business, which is incredible. And we've gotten so many results from doing that it's snowballed. And so many people doing well, so many people built businesses. I know Shajarim was one of my OG students, and dude's doing like millions a month now, absolute stud, incredible. We have a lot of people who turned out to be absolute rock stars after we showed them these systems that we put into place. And ultimately, I worked myself into the dirt. My whole motto was, I want to get rich off of literally just beating myself into the dirt, building a name, building a foundation, building an infrastructure. And when I'm able to go ahead and say, okay, this is a point where I am comfortable, I went ahead and automated everything. I was able to automate, I was able to hire great individuals to hop on my team, and we have a very, very nice payroll as well because we have great people on board. That's one of the main things as well that helped me get to where I am, is my team helping me with everything that I do. And these people that work with me are hand-picked, they're rock stars, I love them to death. And ultimately, when I was there working myself into the dirt, I had no team at the time. So,
there's just two more things I want to talk about today. One thing that I think is very important that you guys should take from what he said is that in the starting phase of your business, you have to be the guy or the girl, the person that is there doing everything, figuring it all out, getting the systems in place. From that, you're going to be making money. You can build a team, you can build infrastructure around that, and that's when you can truly scale. But everybody's always commenting in my group, in your group, how can I find a VA? How can I build a team when they're not even getting any revenue? If you started your consulting business like that out of the gate, I don't think it would be where it's at today.
Absolutely not. Because one of the biggest things that I'll tell someone who's looking to come up in any business model, right? Wear the hat in every corner of your business. You're the marketer, right? You're the back-end ad manager. You are everything. You're the customer service representative. You wear every hat in your business. And you need to do that to learn the systems, learn your consumer avatar, and understand what needs to be done to the T so you can actually delegate the work properly and know what actually has to be done. It's one thing to know what you got to do, but it's another thing to hire someone when you don't know what to do and say, hey, do this. And then they're not going to do it as good.
They're not going to do it as good. So the last two things I want to talk about is that first, bro, you have helped literally hundreds of people start successful e-commerce businesses. What is the difference between the people who are struggling with their stores and the people that go ahead and take off and get to that 1K a day, 100K a month? What's the difference that you've seen?
Systems and follow what I call the 20-20 rule. Guys and gals, the 20-20 rule, and I know most of you guys are e-commerce entrepreneurs here, please write this down because this is something that I'm very, very passionate about. It's systems with everything, product research, scaling, launching ads, whatever. Everything needs a system, no matter what it is, as well as the 20-20 rule. People will say, hey, Justin, what is the secret to e-commerce? Most people will say, testing, right? Testing, right. But let's make that an actionable step. The 20-20 rule is the ability for you to go ahead and use a product research system to go ahead and get products validated through a multi-platform verification system, which you're looking at YouTube, watch count, Amazon, proving the product is successful before marketing it. Building up a list of 20 items that are cross-platform validated, and then creating assets for every single one of these actual products before you spend a cent. And the reason that we do this, guys and gals, is because the number one partner that you have in this business is momentum. And when you have momentum, you will keep going. And when you have consistency, you continue to have that momentum. It builds up and it compounds, okay? Especially with your ad account, the way the pixel works. As you know as well, the whole thing is momentum and consistency with your pixel. Once you start to get some sales, kind of snowballs, you duplicate, you edit your budgets, you go ahead and launch larger campaigns, right? And the only way to get to launch larger campaigns is to maintain consistency with momentum in your ad spend when you actually launch these actual advertisements at first. And when I say momentum, guys and gals, I don't just mean launching ads one after another mindlessly. I mean prepping your assets, creating proper videos, creating proper targeting sheets, okay? Doing things right, writing proper description and copy in your videos. Everything needs to be done perfectly to a T in a systemized format and build out a list of 20 items before you spend a cent. This will force you to be consistent, to have momentum, and ultimately, I kind of correlate this to waking up in middle school to impress that, whoever it is you like at school, right? You always set up your clothes before you go because you're setting yourself up for success. Right? Preparing.
100%, bro. Well, hey, dude, it was great talking with you. If the people want to connect with you and learn more about you, Justin's actually going to be posting on YouTube a little bit more, so you can check out the link to that down below. But where they can really find you is the Beyond Six Figures Facebook group.
The Facebook group.
Super active. This guy just did a live stream just before this call. He's always on there, so you guys can go down below to check him out. You can see all the student results as well. Is there any closing words that you have for the people that are watching this?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me, Jordan. It's been an awesome time actually getting you in or getting me in the house and having you go ahead and have this interview, guys. Jordan's an absolute rock star, and this dude is one of the hardest workers I've ever met in my life, honestly. And I'm a hard-working person. I don't just give compliments for no reason. This guy works hard, and I got a lot of respect for him. So thank you so much for having me, Jordan.
All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for this video. Stay tuned for the next video. I'll be posting another one in this next week. Make sure you guys go follow Justin. Absolute rock star. You guys are going to be hearing many things from this guy in the next coming years. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Peace out.